Hello and welcome to an India Today special broadcast that comes to you from strife-torn Kyiv in Ukraine. I'm Gaurav Sawant. Over the course of the next half hour, India Today's biggest team of reporters on ground zero. Rajesh Pawar and I from Kyiv and Geeta Mohan from Donetsk will get you the latest developments in this conflict between Russia and Ukraine on day 33. On day 33 of the conflict, Russian forces have targeted Kyiv. There were multiple rocket and missile strikes early this morning. In fact, the strike started late last night. The attacks are on multiple flanks. The Ukrainian armed forces are holding the Russian advance back. There have been air attacks, there have been artillery and rocket attacks. The surface-to-air defense system, according to Ukraine's armed forces, operational and effective. Our next report gets us more.
Вже штук 20 пролетіло.
The raging battle for capital city Kyiv continues, and Moscow is increasing both intensity of attacks and ferocity of weaponry, aiming to make the phase 2 of the ongoing war even deadlier. Russian troops are attempting to advance on Kyiv from the northwest and the east, capturing nearby roads and villages. But Ukraine is not backing down. Russian forces are currently being held back by Ukrainian fightback in outskirts of Kyiv.
Early this morning, there was intense shelling reported from the north, northeast and west, 3 directions in Kyiv, and that is where the Russian forces are reportedly advancing. So initially there was a feeling that there would be a lull since negotiations are happening, but there appears to be an intensification in the operations that are being carried out by the Russians.
Villages surrounding Kyiv, including Bashiv, Stoyanka and Sitnyaki, are in ruins. Their infrastructure damaged, buildings destroyed and streets deserted.
The workers are still working and they're making sure that in case of any heavy bombardment in this area in Sofia Square, this statue, which is an ancient statue, is a heritage of the city, is protected and is not damaged in any kind of air attacks from the Russian forces.
Destroyed tanks, armored vehicles dot the landscape, indicating a massive trail of destruction. India Today met a group of US war veterans who have arrived in Kyiv to help Ukraine fight back.
So Marshall incidentally is a combat veteran. He's had extensive tours of duty overseas with the US Armed Forces. John, you're helping as a volunteer. What do you do?
So I'm actually bringing donations from Canada. I'll be volunteering at the Menica border crossing, just helping refugees. I passed through there a couple days ago. They definitely need all the assistance that they can get, 100%.
Despite continued attacks from Kyiv, some residents of Kyiv who fled the capital city are slowly returning home. Local churches becoming rallying points for residents. With Gaurav Sawant and Rajesh Pawar in Kyiv war zone, Bureau Report, India Today.
More than a month into the conflict, people are now coming in to join the fight. Those who'd fled the country in panic in the first part of this battle are now returning to this country to join this battle to defend their home, their earth and their motherland. I now want to cut across to India Today's contributor Rajesh Pawar for more on this big story.
Other areas of the capital Kyiv have been devastated by Russian attacks. Many residents fled when the invasion began. But now, life is starting to return. More details in the next report. The city of Mariupol has been devastated by Russian troops as the war enters day 33. Geeta Mohan explains more.
As Russian forces push further into the center of the city of Mariupol, half of its population has left the city. The port city has been laid to waste by Russian heavy weapons and relentless firing by the Russian side. Ukraine has now accused Russia of displacing thousands of Ukrainians, while Donbas and Donetsk People's Republic says that Mariupol is a part of the Donbas region.
Over 3,000 killed. Thousands forcibly taken to Russia as prisoners. Many, many more injured. No building standing without damage. This is the horrifying story of Mariupol. The Ukrainian city of 5.5 lakh, now in absolute ruins. The destruction is near total. Bombarded, hit with missiles, struck with massive airstrikes relentlessly. The sprawling port city of Mariupol has been wasted by Russian heavy artillery fire. Its once plush and picturesque neighborhoods now unrecognizable and reduced to ghost towns. Many streets are seen littered with unclaimed corpses and civilians killed in airstrikes. Ukraine has also accused Moscow of forcibly moving out over 40,000 citizens from Mariupol to Russia without consent from Ukrainian government. The port city, lying in direct line of Russian fire and invasion, has seen toddlers and newborns dying in Russian attacks. Hundreds had perished earlier when Russia bombed a theatre where civilians had taken shelter. Russia has been accused of using super powerful bombs after trapping nearly 2 lakh people and denying them safe passage. France has also raised concerns over the humanitarian catastrophe in Mariupol and called for urgent international intervention. French Foreign Minister called Mariupol the new Aleppo, drawing parallels with the total destruction of the Syrian city.
Mariupol, c'est la guerre des sièges, dans laquelle
Mariupol is a siege war that Russia has been entering for a month now. And siege warfare is horrible warfare since civilian populations are being massacred and annihilated.
Ukrainian President Zelensky slammed Russian forces for targeting civilians, including bombing a school sheltering women and children.
Destroyed schools, churches, houses. All the people are killed, and all the children are killed. The air bomb on the maternity hospital is the final proof that the genocide of the Ukrainians is taking place.
Half of Mariupol's population is still trapped, becoming victims of President Putin's war game. And time is running out for Mariupol real fast. Bureau Report, India Today.
India Today is the only channel reporting from Russia to Ukraine. I bring you this exclusive ground report from Donetsk. Take a look. We're right here in the Donetsk city, and we can hear sounds of explosion. There you hear it, sounds of explosion that's taking place not so far away from here, but in the outskirts. In some time from now, we will be reporting from there, but certainly a worry for people, most of them inside. If you see the city, if Satya can show you, hardly any people around, no people, and the fact that there are massive explosions here. President Putin had said that the military operations over here will intensify, and from the day we arrived here, we certainly hear more sounds of explosion. With video journalist Satya Rautre, in Donetsk, Geeta Bhutan for India Today.
Ukraine is fighting a two-front war, one with Russian invasion forces and the other with Russian-backed rebels of Donetsk, who call themselves the Donetsk People's Republic, a separatist region which is pitted against the Ukraine rule. as Ukrainians battle it out against Russian aggression, images from southeastern Ukraine tell a different story. India today visited this rebel stronghold of Donetsk to find strong support for Russian President Vladimir Putin and his invasion. In Donetsk, most cars were seen with pro-Russia Z signs. The anti-Ukrainian sign is a call for independence from Ukraine.
Z denotes independence. Russia and the breakaway factions of Donbas region, Donetsk, what they call Donetsk People's Republic, DPR, are together fighting the Ukrainians. And the two signs that they use are signs that Ukraine also recognizes distinctly as being anti-Ukraine, which is V for victory and Z for independence. In Donetsk, you will not see a lot of V signs, you'll see Z. Why? Because the call is for independence. So a lot of cars over here that you see have the Z sign, only saying that they do not want to remain with Ukraine, they want independence.
Russian supporters in downtown Donetsk were also seen paying homage to the lives lost in the Tochka-U missile attack carried out by the Ukrainians on 14th March. More than 20 people were allegedly killed in the attack, which left marks of shelling on residential buildings.
This is the building that got hit, and I'll show you. This is where it landed. 20 people were killed. That's the memory. That's the memory of the people whose lives were lost. And the entire building over here, you can see the marks of shelling. If you see, there are marks of shelling everywhere in the building.
Lately, it's noted that the attacks are even more frequent than before. I talked with some military personnel, and it's totally speculative what I'm going to say. But one possible explanation is that Ukrainian troops, which are stationed in Donetsk, or near Donetsk right now, it's possibly more than 50,000 of them. So it's a huge troop, and possibly they are sending the sort of a message.
The Moscow-backed separatists have ruled the Donbas region for 8 years now. Russia is now using them as tools to gain upper hand in the invasion war.
Will there be a ceasefire? Will there be an end to war? Can there be negotiations where both sides' demands are met and kept? We'll be reporting on that. With which journalist Satya Rautre in Donetsk, Geeta for India.
A quick break. There's lots more coming up on the other side of these short messages on the big battle between Russia and Ukraine. Stay with us here on this special broadcast on India Today from Kyiv, Ukraine.
Ukraine's president has demanded that the West hand over tanks, planes and missiles. Volodymyr Zelensky insists they are desperately needed to fend off Russian forces, which he says are hitting more fuel and food depots.
Well, that is all we have time for you on this special broadcast from Kyiv, Ukraine. From cameraman Lalit Mohan Joshi and I, that is all that we have for you on this bulletin. Lots more coming up on the other side of these messages. Keep watching India Today.